We seem to have had a rather long line of ministers of defence who clearly don't have a clue what they're doing. In fact, their term in office is actually really quite short, so they never get a chance to get on top of their brief. But I'd just like to say a quick word about NATO. Now, many years ago, as a young man, when I had hair, I was much taller. I was a liaison officer with 4 Armoured Division, British Army on the Rhine. And we all knew why we were there. We were members of NATO, and the great big bear the other side, the Warsaw Pact countries, were looking pretty nasty and pretty threatening, and we all sort of stood up and looked across the barbed wire and knew where we are. Things have changed now. The Warsaw Pact has disbanded, and everything's changed, but we're still members of NATO. And the thing that worries me about NATO is that it is now more likely to be the threat than the saviour. More people join all the time. NATO borders have pushed right up until the Russian border, and no good can possibly come of it. We've added all sorts of countries which we have no historical influence over. We have no historical view, the Balkans, the Baltic, all these things. It means that we are committed under NATO. We are committed to go to war if these countries are infringed in any way. We're committed to go to war, our young men possibly getting killed for countries or on behalf of countries that you've never heard of and you certainly couldn't mark out on a map. I would suggest, and I would suggest to Sir Michael Fallon, who is our current Minister of Defence, who is clearly a little bit at sea, bless him, I would suggest, why don't we sit down and think, what is the point of NATO now? What do we want NATO to do? Because at the moment it just seems to be an extension of American US State Department empire building. So let's ask the question, shall we? What is NATO for now? What is it actually for? Because I've got a big feeling that it's not what it used to be, and there's no reason for it now, and we could easily get rid of it and come up with something which is not quite so anachronistic.